In today's video, we'll be looking at two techniques to use black and white adjustment layer inside of Affinity to make your images look much more professional and better. So before starting the video, if you want to follow along with this tutorial, please find the link for the images in the description. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button for more tips and tricks related to Affinity. Now with that said, let's get started with the video. So on the right, you can see that we have an image layer. So to demonstrate the first technique, first of all, let's navigate to the right and select this particular adjustment icon below the layers panel. And after selecting it, you'll be able to see the black and white option at the top section right here. You can click the black and white adjustment layer by selecting this option, which will add the black and white adjustment layer on top of the image layer. Or we can also navigate to the top, select on the pixel menu and navigate below and hover over the new adjustment layer icon, and inside of it you can see that we have the black and white option right here. Or we can simply use the shortcut key to easily and quickly access the black and white adjustment layer panel inside of Affinity. And in order to do that, the shortcut key is Shift, Command, Option and B. And as soon as we hit the shortcut modifier key plus B, then you now see that you can now see that a new black and white adjustment box has been added, or the new black and white adjustment layer has been added to the top of the image layer. And if you are using Windows, you can use the shortcut key of Shift, Option and Control plus B key in order to access this box. Now after the black and white adjustment layer has been applied on top of the image layer, we already know that when we change different sliders of red, yellow, green, cyan, blue and magenta, then it changes the colors equivalent to these option of colors in our image. However, in the first approach, we are going to use the black and white adjustment layer in order to change or adjust the color tones inside of this image. And in order to do that, navigate to the right inside of the black and white adjustment box, click on the blend mode option right here, and within the blend mode option, select multiply. As soon as we do that, you can see that now our image has been converted into a much darker exposure. So first of all, I'll simply click on the Command and Option key to get rid of the keys that you see at the bottom, since it is a issue with the new tool that I've added to show the keys that I pressed in my keyboard. And now, after or by selecting the blend mode as multiply, now let's adjust each of the color options inside of the black and white box here in order to adjust individual colors inside of the image, or change the overall color tones by targeting each color inside of the image. So to do that, simply let's first of all play around with the red slider. So I click on the red slider and you can see that it is adjusting the red color values or color tones to the areas where there are red values in the pixels in the image. So you can simply click on the yellow slider and then adjust it like so. To accentuate the yellow color properties or color tones in the fabric as well, we can simply click on the green slider and adjust the green slider as well in order to accentuate the green fabric much more and make it pop. In addition to that, we can also select the cyan slider and then adjust the cyan slider as well by making the cyan color of the fabric much more higher in terms of the color tones. And then we can also adjust the blues to increase the color values in the cyan or blue fabric that we have recently adjusted in the cyan option in order to add much more blues and make it much more pop in this image. And the last option that we have is the magenta option. So if we control the magenta option, you can see that nothing is happening because in the image, we do not have the magenta color value properties inside of the image. So I'll set the slider for the magenta as default by simply double clicking on the slider point of the magenta option right here. And now after we are satisfied with this particular settings inside of the black and white box, I'll simply navigate up and click on close to apply those changes. So this is the before and this is the after. So we can play around with these settings furthermore in order to adjust the color tones inside of this image. Similarly, let's jump into the next document. So I'll simply click on the next document of image 1, and in here you can see that we have this particular image. Similar to before, in this image also we can add a new black and white adjustment layer first. And in order to do that, first of all, for this document, I'll navigate to the top and select on pixel, navigate below and select new adjustment layer. And inside of the new adjustment layer, I'll simply navigate below and select the black and white option right here. And as soon as we select the black and white option, you can see that we again have the black and white box being popped up right here. Now, similar to before, let's adjust different color tones inside of this image as well by using the black and white box. So in order to do that, first of all, let's navigate below and select on the blend mode. And inside of the blend mode, let's select multiply as a blend mode. So after selecting the blend mode of multiply, now you can see that it negates the black and white effect that was created by black and white adjustment layer that we have added to the box, and then shows the colors or the actual image that was underlying beneath the black and white adjustment layer inside of the layers panel. However, the image is more darker compared to before, but the advantage here is we can control specific color tones inside of this image as per our preference and requirements in order to make the image much more pop. And now, similar to before, we can navigate to the top, and first of all, we can adjust the red slider, which targets the red color tones inside of this image, and we can accentuate or make the color tones of the red flower much more less by using this slider. So if I simply click on this particular slider and then drag it all the way to the right, you can see that the color tones are started to change. So if I drag it all the way to the left, now you can see that the color tones of the red flowers are starting to be much more darker. So I'll simply navigate the color tones or the slider to the right in order to make the color tones of the red flower much more popping. Similarly, for the yellow slider as well, I'll simply click on this particular slider and then drag it all the way to the right to make the yellow flower pop as well, comparatively to the red slider before. So similarly, as you can see here, the green section of the image, which is actually the background, is dark. So we can simply navigate inside of the green option and then simply click and drag the green panel like so to make things in the image or the green background much more popping and brighter. Similarly, we can simply click on the sign slider as well and then adjust it like so, and you can see that it affects the green leaves that are beneath the flowers inside of the image, and we can simply adjust it to make them pop as well in this particular image. So I'll set the value to somewhere at 212% for now. And similarly, we can again select the blue slider and adjust it like so to make the blue flowers pop as well a little. So I'll set the value to 206%. And likewise, I can simply click and adjust the magenta slider as well in order to pop the magenta flower much more or make them a bit less darker in order to add contrast in comparison to other colors inside of the image. So the next and ultimate thing that we can do after tweaking the color tones inside of this image is we can simply drag our cursor below, select over the opacity label and simply adjust the values of opacity in order to make those effects much more subtler compared to how it actually was. So I'll set the value of opacity to 75% in order to make the effect much more subtle by decreasing the strength of the black and white adjustment layer. And in order to commit, I'll simply click outside of the box in order to get rid of the box. So this is the before and this is the after. So there's a very drastic difference, and the color tones are also contrasting with one another inside of this image. So this is one way you can use the black and white adjustment layer inside of Affinity to control the color tones inside of this image. So next, we'll be moving on to the next document to see the next trick that we can use or implement with the black and white adjustment layer inside of Affinity. So in order to do that, I'll simply navigate to the top and select image 3. And now, similar to before, this time I'll simply navigate below, select on this particular icon, and then navigate below and select black and white option right here. After selecting the black and white option, I'll simply first of all reposition the black and white box to somewhere visible like so. And then by using the hand tool inside of our image, first of all, I'll simply drag the image to the left and again double click on our black and white adjustment layer in order to get it back. Now I'll reposition the black and white adjustment box somewhere here in order to get a clear view of our image and adjustment settings. So in this second approach, instead of changing the blend mode to multiply, we'll simply change the blend mode to luminosity. So we'll select the blend mode as luminosity here. So what changing the blend mode to luminosity does in this example or approach is it will allow us to control the brightness values inside of the image. So in order to demonstrate, if I navigate below and select the magenta slider and then control it like so, you can see that as soon as I increase the value of magenta, every petals of the flower inside of the image will be much more brighter by clipping the petal color values inside of the image. So we need to find the right sweet spot value in order to make the brightness much more natural and appealing. So let's decrease or set the value somewhere to 212% for now. And after that, let's now adjust the slider value for blue option as well by simply clicking here and dragging it like so and adjusting the value of the blue. You can see that the background or the areas behind the branches are starting to change as soon as we tweak the blue values. So I want much more brightness in the background besides the branch and petals as well as leaves as well. So I'll set the value somewhere at 270% for now. Similarly, we can again navigate back or navigate to the top inside of the green option and then click on the green slider and then adjust it like so in order to make our leaves much more different in terms of brightness values in comparison to other element in the image. So I'll simply set the value somewhere to at 182% for now, and likewise I'll decrease the value of yellows in order to add a bit contrast in the leaf section in the image. And finally, I'll simply adjust the cyan value in order to adjust the remaining sky portion besides the branches, leaves and flower inside of the image. Like so in order to make the overall image much more brighter. So I think still the petals are much more brighter and much of the information are being clipped or removed with whites or pure whites. So due to this reason, I'll simply again come to our magenta slider and decrease the value like so to see or view the details of the petals more. So I'll set the value somewhere to let's say 82% for now. And after I'm fine with these settings, I'll now navigate to the top and close the black and white box in order to commit. So this is the before and this is the after. As you can see how appealing and balanced this particular image is now looking overall in terms of brightness and contrast. So in this way, you can use both of these blend modes of luminosity as well as multiply in order to change the color tones as well as brightness inside of any image, inside of Affinity. So now I'll center the image in the middle of the canvas by using the shortcut key of Command plus 0. So this is how you can use the black and white adjustment layer in a different way inside of Affinity in order to manually control the color tones as well as brightness inside of an image. If you find this video helpful, please click on the like button. And for more tips and tricks related to Affinity, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching this video and see you on the next video.